Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to Spirit of Islam. I'm your host Ashraf Zaghloul. And one of the most important or very important issues in Islam is charitable work and helping others, the needy, to help provide for them and help them stand on their feet. And today, inshallah, I'll discuss with my guest, a young Muslim who's working on helping some of the needy people around the world. My guest today is Nader Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Nader.
Wa alaikum salam.
Tell me, Nader, a little bit about your organization and what you do.
Well, it started off with me and my partner Sheikh Faraz Rabbani sitting and discussing how do we change perspective of religious people,
Yes.
Who are rarely seen smiling or doing anything nice.
That's an interesting one. How do we do that?
What we saw was clearly was that if we think of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as he was rahmatul lil alameen, not rahmatul lil muslimin.
Yeah.
Right? So a mercy to the whole universe. So how do we manifest that prophetic mercy instead of just talking about it?
Yes.
So we came up with this idea for creating a company that raises funds and raises awareness for charitable organization, for charitable causes.
Yes.
Through things like Islamic music, art, and media, for example, lectures and what have you, selling them over the internet and directing a major portion of those earnings towards charitable causes. And that's how Relief Works was formed.
Very good, very good. What's the current cause you're trying to help these days?
We have two current causes. Generally, our focus is on local relief causes.
Yes. Local as in here in Toronto or in Canada, or what do you define local?
Define local meaning, for example, I do, like, my album that was recently released was released through Relief Works.
Yes.
And all my performances are booked through Relief Works. So when I do a performance and when we create an event which is a lecture concert event, so where the event is, my goal is to make sure that we bring about, we add some value to lives of people there, locally to that event. So when I do an event in California or Seattle or Chicago or Toronto, so what I would be looking to do is bring about, you take a local relief cause to that performance.
Fair enough. You mentioned about your album. Where would we find your album to listen to some of your great music?
Ya Rab. You can. My album is downloadable from iTunes or from Amazon MP3. You can also find it at the Sound Vision bookstore over here in Toronto.
Yeah.
And also at the Hijab Fashion Center out in Scarborough.
But is there free samples or you always have to pay?
No, there's some clips that were, the production team, they created some clips, some video clips that people can find on YouTube. They can type in my name, Nader Khan, and you should be able to see some clips.
Very good.
And so what we do is, that's essentially how it was created, right?
Yes.
It was those crazy 1 o'clock in the morning ideas.
But it came to life.
Alhamdulillah, it did. And we are, currently we have two major causes that we're looking at. The local cause that we're looking at is inspired from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where Allah says, tells his servant, I was hungry and you didn't feed me.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So the servant responds, Ya Rabb, you are the Lord of the universe. How could I have fed you?
Yeah.
And then Allah responds, you knew that so and so was sick. Had you visited him?
No, well, somebody asked you for food and you didn't help them.
Exactly.
So
it's called the Feed Me Project.
Yes.
Where our goal is to raise $1 million to fight poverty, to fight hunger.
Okay. And where would this $1 million go?
This would go towards. This would go locally towards the food, the local food banks of where events are held. Okay. Our first event on the Feed Me project was done with the West Humber Collegiate Institute. High schoolers. It's a high school MSA, and really nice kids. And they really connected with the cause, right? So what we did was we created a lecture concert event. Sheikh Faraz came and he delivered a lecture on, a spiritual angle.
Yes.
And high school Muslims, you have their attention for a few minutes. You give them something short, not a hour-long khutbah, but 10 minutes. And then after that we had a concert, and they put that event together in a matter of 3 weeks, and it was brilliantly done.
Very good.
And we raised some money and we gave it to the food bank that was local to that school, in that community, in Etobicoke.
Yes.
So that was the first one.
Yes.
So that's the beginning. Currently, we have also launched our second campaign, which is why our attention is diverted for the time being from the hunger campaign.
Yes.
Because of the seriousness of this issue at hand.
Which issue is that?
The issue is something that was overshadowed in the news media by the Iranian elections and now by Michael Jackson. This is the issue of the 3 million displaced people in Pakistan in the Swat Valley. And it's a major humanitarian crisis of major proportions as per the United Nations.
Yes.
And so what we are trying to do, what we are hoping to do, is to raise $1 million for them.
Okay. So what's your first step, or how do you go that first mile in that 1,000 mile? Or
what we initially did was we had planned to hold a fundraising dinner in Toronto, and our goals were much more modest. We were hoping to raise 60,000.
Okay, it's a good start.
It's a start, and then what happened was when we launched that, within a week, we found people donating us money everywhere from Australia to California to England to UAE and everywhere in the middle.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So what we saw a real potential for something much bigger.
Yes.
And what we are ambitiously what we've launched is a grassroots campaign. All you need is so we turned that from an event to an online campaign.
Yes.
So you need 1,000 people to donate $20 each.
And how do you make people aware of this online campaign?
As of right now, until now, our outreach has been completely online through specific people. We have requested various scholars who have mass appeal to issue statements in our support, which they have done. Imam Zaid Shakir from California, Imam Tahir Anwar, Imam Afroz Ali from Australia, and there's many more that are coming, inshallah.
But you mentioned 1,000 people, each one $20. That's only $20,000.
Of course.
Which is a very small amount compared to what you're mentioning, which you want to raise $1 million.
At the outset, it seems like a daunting task. But one of the things that happens with visual media is that we get conditioned to look at exciting things and not being able to do anything about it.
Okay.
And the more you let it inundate you, the more this feeling of I can't make a difference sets in.
Yes.
And what we're trying to do is create a massive grassroots campaign and reinvigorate that feeling that you can make a difference.
Yes.
So 1,000 people who donate $20 each, their task will also be to go out and get 20 more people who can donate $20 each.
Okay, so maybe this is the time we encourage our audience. The website name is up. We need 1,000 people at $20 each to help these people in the Swat Valley in Pakistan. They're living in camps. I watch BBC and CNN, and I could see the pictures of the camps every day.
It is really squalid, yeah.
So it's the time, and $20 is not a lot of money.
It's not, and the point is that we as a community can do a lot of things, and
It doesn't only have to be the community. Any Canadian,
Absolutely.
any person who really feels for
any
these
person
people.
with a conscience, any person with a conscience.
We have to help the needy, especially those that are in trouble. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what our hope is, once we have that that first campaign done, you will have a network of people, 1,000 people who know 20 people, and each of those 20 people will know 2 people each. And all of you have a total of 40,000 people who've just given $20 to raise $800,000, right? Just like that. So once that network is in place, then we can see how every month we can raise that kind of money and make a difference, in real causes.
But okay, let's talk about the Swat Valley and what's happening there. Why is it close? There's a lot of other people who need money and need things. Why this issue?
What really touched me about this issue was at that time when the issue broke out, it was overshadowed in the media by so many other things.
Yes.
Like
unfortunately, that's how the media works. Whatever the thing of the day is, right?
The trouble, though, is that when people, generally Muslims and generally people in general, are reactive by nature.
Yes.
They see something, oh my God, I have to do something about it. They talk about it for a few minutes and then it dies away.
Yes.
But if issues are kept alive, then you can make a difference. But the thing with Swat Valley was, as far as the news media was concerned, it was a flash in the pan. It came, it left. And then nobody was doing it. Very few people were doing it.
Maybe because it didn't happen overnight. It's not a natural disaster or something. This is something that piled up with time as.
True. I mean, you have the political unrest over there, the Pakistan army fighting whatever they're fighting, and these people were literally driven out from their homes. The thing with these people, though, is that the Pashtun people are historically have always been a model of hosting others.
Yes.
Right? There's a very proud people, very sort of, and to see them destitute like this is really heartbreaking.
Yes. So we need everybody to chip in, help them. Now, tell me, as a group of people, how do you organize this, or how do you go about it?
This has grown very organically.
Yes.
Because as of right now, there were only 3 people involved in relief works.
Okay.
Myself, Sheikh Faraz Rabbani, and more recently, Sister Jennifer Zaghloul.
Yeah.
Now what we see happening is people voluntarily stepping up saying, what can I do to help?
Yes.
And so we are involving various other people in helping out in various ways, like creating a website for us, or helping us with team building and project management and all of these things.
Good.